it was running in reverse, 2-stroke backwards. Yep, shit. All right, folks. Well, seems to me that the vintage KMB is a highly sought after thing, because I got 3,500 views on this boat, where typical other boats that we do, you know, the Cheetah or any of these number of boats down here, only get, you know, 500 to 1,000 views over a 2-week period of time, or 3,500 in 5 days, which is kind of crazy. So I made an eBay purchase. Check it out. $65 with $11 shipping. So we got another one here. If you caught the last video, you know my long-term plan is to have twin KMB 7.5s on the back of another boat. Now, yes, we do have a different little, I call it a whale tail, whatever you want to call this thing. But maybe in the future, I'll actually do that to this one too. Seems pretty legit. But I wanted to buy another one strictly for the electric conversion. I have the electric conversion. It's just so much easier to undo the 4 bolts instead of disassembling the motor each time to swap it back and forth. And then when I go the route of putting 2 of these on there, I'm going to have 2 electric conversions on a 50-inch monohull. So that's the long-term goal and the reason why I bought this. Another reason why I really love these style of outboards is because they can hold up to a 50mm prop. If you look at any of the modern day outboards, they all kind of max out at around like 44 or 47mm props. So this can hold a really big prop, and it doesn't have a .150 cable in it. It's got a 187, a 3/16 cable. So a lot stronger cable in this style of unit. But the reason for this video is because I decided, I originally wanted to order these months ago, but I was afraid that the generic sizes that they had on Fast Eddy bearings weren't correct. So my initial assumption of the crankshaft bearing, so this is the fancy crankshaft bearing. It's special. It's an 1 1/8" OD and 15mm ID, right? So you've got the Fast Eddy bearing here, and I don't know, I haven't tried to see if it fits the crankshaft. Let's test that theory right now. Okay, so it does fit. If I were to try and get that on, it does fit, right? But the dilemma is that the big bearing is too small for the motor, right? For the engine. So that won't work. But we didn't buy the Fast Eddy bearings for that big bearing. We bought it for this one. So it was 19 bucks for his bearing kit. They offered 3 different versions for a .45 OS engine. Now, this is a KMB, but they didn't have KMB. All they had was 3 different variants. I bought the one that said ABC. I just kind of think that, I don't know. But I bought ABC .45. There was really no size difference in the explanation of everything. So I want this strictly because we were getting fuel coming out around the stock original bearing. And I said, why didn't they make it sealed? So that was why I went this route. So we now have a sealed bearing. This should help keep my fuel or any, you know, combustion gases, all that crap for the 2-stroke. It should keep it in there. That's what my thoughts are. But luckily, this bearing is the same. And I've already tested it. I believe it fits on here. I'll have to do the same thing. I'll have to put the crank in the freezer and gently heat up the inner race of this thing to get it to press on. But we're going to go ahead and rebuild the engine, get it all put back together, and see if we can get this thing to run. I did put a new shaft a new threaded stud on here because I had ruined the other one. But since then, this one is Loctited in. So shouldn't have any issues with that pulling out. And we can get this thing running. Another thing I did, I went and bought me a right starter. So they had this on eBay for like $33. Came with some alligator clips. I just put a QS8 on it. It'll work on 3S and 4S. 3S batteries fully charged, or a 4S battery chilling around, you know, storage charge. But other than that, yeah. So I just kind of wanted to make a quick little video letting you know I got some bearings, and we're going to try to get this thing put back together. And yeah, we're going to try to put a sealed bearing on it. I got a lot of remarks of people saying that the factory bearing leaking wasn't a problem. It's supposed to do that. A little bit of blow-by is okay. One guy said those engines were never made to idle good. They were always made to leak a little to lubricate the bearing. I can understand where you're coming from, but I just don't agree with it. I understand the concept of a two-stroke engine and the importance of sealing the bottom end. And this being the bottom end has to be able to hold that pressure. And if that pressure is leaking out around bearings, then we're not getting the full potential of this engine. Now, another thing I noticed on the back side, the way you can see this piece inside of here. So you see that black disc right behind the connecting rod? Well, I would almost bet money if I were to flip this over and if I were to drip oil through those two bearings right there. So there's two bearings stacked on top of one another here. If you were to drip oil through those, being that those are not sealed, you'd probably get the oil to come through here. So that also means the backside isn't sealed. But that's not as big of a deal. And what I was realizing is when this mounts to that plate, basically like so, it kind of seals itself. So what I'm thinking about doing when I put this on here, I'm going to clean it really well. I'm going to put a small little bead of RTV right around this, right? And then that RTV is going to push against this surface here, which should theoretically help seal it. I'll still get probably some gases and some fuel going down in here into the flex cable area, which probably shouldn't, couldn't hurt. But that's just an added precaution so we don't get any oil leakage around, the sides of the back or whatever. I just don't know. I'm just basing this off of my two-stroke experience, not my, understanding of nitro. All I know is that it had a leak. It was literally spraying oil in a circular pattern while I was trying to crank it, and you could see it. When I went back and watched the video, you could actually see when the sunlight hit it perfectly. It was like a beautiful round ring of mist, and you just couldn't have that. I just thought it was crazy. Some people saying, oh, that was fine, yada, yada, yada. To me, it's not fine. One guy was like, you are absolutely 100% correct. Whoever you are, I agree with you. I agree with you. But let's go ahead and get this thing all put together, and I'll show you what it looks like in the end. All right, well, that actually went in a whole lot easier than I thought. Really good. So, new bearings in. Spins, got compression. Go ahead and put our wedge nut on. And then we'll put this on like so. Oh, looks like I'm going to need to push that on a little bit deeper. Well, there you have it. It's all back on, and it's good to go. So I'm excited about it. I got the bottom all sealed, and I'm actually thinking about taking it out for a quick rip. I might have enough daylight to make this happen, and I did get some new fuel. So the other fuel I had was still new, but this is VP Racing fuel, 30% instead of 20%, and this is 9% oil instead of 12%. So I think we should give her a run. What do y'all think? I've got the starter. I've got the receiver. The battery's charged. Let's go do it. All right. Looks like I got everything out here. Got just enough daylight left where we can get a good video. And I've got all my gadgets right here. So we should be good to go. This right here should plug in. All right, like so. I brought a 4S pack because I didn't charge it, so let's see. Sweet. All right, let's see if we can get her running. First things first, make sure we have throttle and steering. Throttle, steering. I just don't think the steering is maxed out on this channel, but we'll worry about that later. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna set the remote right here, out of the way. I've got a screwdriver, a temp gun, so we can adjust the carburetor if need be. Let's go ahead and try and fire this thing. See if it'll work first. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay. Oh, man. This is going to be a trick. All right, so in the future, I'm going to need a chest mount so I don't have to worry about mounting the camera to my actual controller. So let's go ahead, put the idle back where it was and get this thing running. And I'm just going to post y'all up here on my stand like a tripod. Are you kidding me? This is getting crazy. This has got to be the most insane thing in the world, because when I connected these, I took off the red and put the red with the white stripe on the wire. It spins the engine backwards. I just checked rotation, spins it backwards. It was running in reverse, 2-stroke backwards. Yep, shit. Okay, all fixed. Let's give it a whirl.
What y'all think about that? Oh my God, that was crazy. I'm dead. That's just so funny. Oh my God. I debated on even turning the camera on because of how dark it was, but with as much frustration as just went on in the last 20 minutes, I was like, why not, you know? But the motor definitely needs to go down. It's doing this. I noticed my dual rate kept turning down. I've got a bad knob right here on the controller, so I need to switch it to the back knob, my dual rate. So I had it at 150, and then I looked, it's down to 43. So that's why it wasn't turning the entire time. Let's go get the boat. Let's get this. I don't really think it'll matter. Everything got submerged in water. 78. Okay, yeah. That's crazy. All right. I am going to have to run some after-run oil through it since it did get submerged. I'm kind of curious on how the inside looks. I had tape on, you know, the most important parts of it just in case it did flip. Honestly, it ran so good this time. Let's see. Not bad. Like, I got lucky that didn't fill with water. Okay. Yeah, hell yeah. Okay. Let's see. Did it hydrolock at all? No. Okay, I still got good compression. But man, it was running backwards there for a little while, y'all. That is crazy. That is crazy. And then one time it got really close to the shore. That's why I'm running a stainless steel prop, just in case it hooks something, it doesn't ruin, you know, one of my other props. But holy shnikes, what a good run. What a fun run now that it was turning. Before that, it was taking the whole entire pond to turn, which was a pain in the ass. But, okay, well, we're slowly figuring it out. I'm getting off work kind of late. That's why, you know, these last couple videos have been in the dark. But, yeah, we got it put together. I think it runs a lot better. There's a lot of fine-tuning I need to do. But, so far, running pretty good. It was really, really nose light. You know, it was picking the front end up. I don't know if there's a necessary trim adjustment I could do, or if I should go up with the motor or down with the motor. You know, I don't really know. Y'all let me know in the comments, you know, if it's picking the nose up, does that mean the rear of the boat is, you know, the engine's too deep in the water? I just don't know. I just don't know. But right now I'm tickled to death, super excited about it. That was killer. That was killer. Oh, look at that. Look. I'm going to have to glue that down. That came up. It was still getting some pickup, but it needed to go down. Needs to be about right. Yay. Yeah. Okay. Honestly, don't think that would get that hot, being that it's still got cooling fins on it. It's probably getting splashed with water back there, but either way, we're not running it that hard. But I was able to get a couple full throttle hits, and man, she's got some torque. Like, she's got some torque. Getting to the point once I can fine tune the engine enough to where it runs good. Like, you know, if you heard at the beginning, it kind of revved up and then cut back. That might have been just excess fuel in the crankcase having to burn off. But, yeah. Backwards running engine. Holy crap. Could not believe it. So I just ran inside real quick, soldered me on another QS8 in reverse, and it seems to work. So who the hell would have known that? Well, it's getting dark, and I want to thank y'all for watching. If you stayed this long, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to this channel, please give this channel a subscribe. Just hit it, whether you've been here for a while or you're just watching this one. Just help me grow the channel. I would really appreciate it. There's a lot of effort that goes into stuff like this, so I don't know. It was a great day. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all later.